Oh, there we are. I can see what's going on here. A bit like doing the weather, I think. Okay. I've deliberately not started on this until you're here, because I thought you might want to see getting the consistency of the paint right. Before we line, the paint needs to be just about right. And you know, that's not too far off. What I'm looking for is when I stir it, I take the stirrer out, just stop it from running off, and then it goes drip. It's the length of the R that's a bit important there, but sort of drip, and that's about right. And I want to get the first or second of those into the bow pen. Now, a cocktail stick is ideal for loading it. I'm just being lazy because I've already got that wet, because I don't want to put too much in. If you put too much in, it can run out. First one. Second one. Sorry, thank you.
Going left. Right.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
On the left.
Yep. I don't really know my left from my right anyway, so. Okay. So. Now, if I don't look at you while I'm talking, please forgive me, because you just look like one person from here. Okay. So. I'm waiting for the camera to find the pen, for the paint to run down to the end, which it does by itself. If I have to shake it down, then it makes me think it's a little bit on the thick side. But it always get a couple of lines down on here. Now, I'm never that worried by the first line, because the paint needs to flow itself. You can see that looks a bit broken. Okay. But the second one, there we go. Now, I'm not putting any weight on the bow pen. If anything, I'm trying to support the weight either in my arm or with my my finger that you see dragging along there. The speed, I can't give you a speed to go at. You just get used to it with the paint. If you go too quickly, you lose your line. And you don't want to go too slow, because you end up stop-starting. So it's the speed you can go at steadily without stop-starting. Okay. Now, have you still got my dividers?
Yes.
James, can I borrow my dividers back, please? Now, when we switch to the model, thank you. You're going to have to scratch your model ever so slightly. There we go. I don't know how much you can see on there if I tilt it, but I've actually, with my dividers, measured how far up this bottom line is away from the footplate, and I've actually sharpened one side of these dividers so it's more of a point than the other. And I'm just making a slight scratch in the paintwork. If you can't see it from there, if you come up and have a look afterwards, you'll see. It doesn't matter because I'm not pushing hard. It's just a mark that I can see when I'm placing my ruler on there, and I'm going to cover it anyway with paint. I'd certainly recommend lining onto a cutting mat, because if you leave the pen for more than 30 seconds, the paint can start to dry. And so by just painting it onto there, it breaks the surface tension and gets it going again. So now for the moment of truth. I'm looking, that's why you need good light, I'm looking for the marks I made earlier. Okay, I'm going to test at either end that the ruler is in the right place, and when I'm happy, I'm going to draw the line across. Sometimes it doesn't go right, so I end up washing it off with a brush and white spirit, wiping it down and going again. and on a bad day, because I'm quite fussy, that could happen half a dozen times. Okay, right, we're going to do a line across the top. Just trying to tilt it to see where my mark was. That's what I mean, the marks are very faint. So we've got one there. We got one there. Because I've moved the ruler, I'm going to go back and check that that one is there. I'm not worried about how long the line is, so long as it's long enough. Doesn't matter if it's too long. Now this line, I've got a couple of misses in there. So at that particular moment there and there, the paint annoyingly stopped flowing. Oh, and there as well. So a 50-50 on that, because it stopped flying a few times. I might have gone again. And do you know what? After all that, I didn't go far enough. So yeah, I might have been tempted to wash it off. In fact, just so you can see how that works, let's do it. Okay, I've just dipped my brush in white spirit. And there we go. This is just a Bachmann Tenderside. I put some black cellulose on it the other day. You can still do that with enamel. My recommendation is that you line onto gloss paint. It cleans so much easier. There we go. So let's go again. Put that on there. Get that lines up. Okay. On this particular occasion I've still got some misses, but I'm not going to take it out again, because you've seen that. I always do the long horizontal lines first, then do the vertical lines. Now you need to be careful here. The ruler needs to be parallel to the work as much as possible, because the shape of the bow pen, it's curved. So in relationship, if you're there, you are a certain distance away from where the line is being painted. If you're there, you're further away. So if your ruler is slanted, you're actually going to get a straight line, but it's not going to be vertical. Okay, so let's put those on here. What I'm planning to do is to put the 4 lines on here. This is, if you like, representing London North Western or BR lining. I'm starting with the cream. I would then put the red on maybe a day or so later, and then 2 or 3 days later the grey, because the grey is up against the yellow, and I do find yellow takes sometimes a good couple of days to properly go off. Okay, now so there we have, oh, this is weird. There we have the basic panel. Okay, not perfect. I would have gone and filled those gaps, but I might do it with the brush in a minute. I'm now going to deal with the curves. This has a 3-inch radius, so I'm just getting my divider and my scale ruler, setting it to 3 inches, and tracing the line. I'm just going to nick the line on each side where the curve is going to start. There we go. 3, 4. Okay. Then I only use Winsor & Newton Series 7 brushes for lining. I've not found a brush that behaves the same way and lasts as long if you look after it. They're not cheap. I think I bought these a few years ago. They're about £10 each. I'm certainly getting my money's worth. This particular one is a 000. Do you know what? I'm going to go with the double. That's a 000. I'm going to go with the 000 short for this. Okay. You can see there a slightly finer brush. So these are just brushed in. Now I'm always going to work from the inside of the curve. I think you get a better radius there. I've left the corner in place because that to me gives me a framework to draw the curve in. It tends to go a little bit quiet when I do this particular bit. Bit dry. Okay, there we go. Nope, not getting it to where I want it. Okay. That's better. I want the paint right on the end of the tip. Now sometimes I'll get a line that I'm really happy with. There, I've sort of got a corner panel, but it doesn't matter at the moment. I'm going to dip into this because sometimes it dries in the bow pen. So I'm going to use some fresh out of the pot and see if we can get a line straight off this time. Jerry was asking me to sing earlier. When I'm doing this, normally I've got some jazz music going on in the background, so if anybody here does want to sing, something a bit jazzy would go down well. There we go. 3. There we go. Can you actually see that? So that's gone. If anything, a line I need to make thicker. Okay, and last one. There we go. So once you've got those in place, you can let those dry for a few minutes. Those of you that are addicted to nicotine might step out for a quick cigarette or something whilst it's drying, or make a coffee, or you can go straight in and start cleaning. The slight delay just allows the paint just to go off a little bit, so you don't clean off too much. But I'm going to go straight in and clean now. Okay, now this particular line is too long, so it needs shortening. So again, brush dipped, moistened in white spirit, and now I'm going to tidy the inside. It's slightly easier to do the inside of the corner first. There we go, and I'm just stroking the edge of the paint with the brush. Don't try to do too much in one go, because you'll end up taking it out and having to paint it back in. Okay, and then we'll do the outside. Just happy to look up there.
Of course something goes wrong.
Oh look, how's that? Yep, we're live. Okay. So yep, I'm just doing the outside of that curve there.